Vicksburg Warren County School Board on the 27th of June. This is a regular scheduled board. I'm Joe Leviza. I'm filling in for Mr. Sturgis, who's out of town this week. We're glad to have such a big crowd, and we welcome guests and, of course, school officials. Nice to see this kind of interest in our school system. We're going to ask Reverend Bill Talbot of Vicksburg Solid Rock Church to give our invocation. Reverend Talbot, glad to have you.
Thank you. I'd like to say it's a privilege to be here tonight. My thoughts kind of go to Nehemiah in the Bible. Nehemiah had a great purpose when he saw that the walls were broken down in disrepair. Then through planning, he developed a strategy, and the walls were rebuilt. And the scripture, if you go through there and read, gives tidbits of the progress that was made. I was here several months ago and was able to pray, and I'm excited about the purpose. I'm excited about the planning that's going on into this, our community, our school district, and I'm excited about the progress being made and that's being talked about here tonight. But if we could bow our head and pray. Lord, we come tonight thankful for each person that's here tonight. We thank you for the leadership of our great school district. We pray your divine blessings upon each member here. We're asking God for your divine guidance and strength. Lord, your word admonishes us that if we acknowledge you in all of our ways, that you direct our path. And we're asking, Lord, that you would be involved in each person's in their jobs and in their thought process. Help facilitate, Lord, your purpose and your will on the earth through each one of us, we pray. We're asking, God, that you would give us oversight and divine insight, Lord, that each person in our community, our children, our families, the moms and dads that are represented, every teacher that is in our district, Lord, we're praying, God, for your divine blessing upon each one of them. You said if we could ask for wisdom, that we could come boldly, and we're asking for that divine wisdom to work out the kinks as this progress unfolds, that you would give each person, every manager, every worker, every contractor, Lord, to be able to work together to see the job done. And we will be careful to give you all the praise. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Talbot. We'll call at this time for adoption of the agenda for the board meeting.
Mr. President, I have two items I'd like to make changes to the agenda to move to a different section. I believe items H7, have it moved to discussion under as K4. H7 moved to be K4 as a discussion item, and H21 to be moved to K5. I don't think there are any other items in the consent that are policy. Didn't see those need to be moved. They haven't sat for 30 days. They need to be reviewed. So that would be again, that was H7 to be moved to K4 and H21 to be moved to K5.
Is there a second to this motion?
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Okay, minutes from the regular scheduled meeting of May 30th and the call meeting of June 4th are on the table at this time. We'll entertain a motion to call for additions or deletions. If none are announced, we'll look for a motion to approve.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the minutes for May 30th and for June 4th.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any additions or deletions? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Okay, general comments from the Superintendent of Education.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, Acting President. Look, I got President today.
Don't give me any promotion.
We had a pretty busy month. If you'll recall, several board members and we went to Washington, D.C. I've got to see some of our state leaders, national leaders. Benny Thompson was one of those. Got to see Roger Wicker. One of the highlights was when we got to see the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They've come alongside us to be this advocacy for Vicksburg Warren School District, and it was no more plain than it was yesterday. We were asked to present at their regional summit on partnerships. So I got up there and got to talk to people from 12 states about what's going on in Vicksburg, Mississippi, which is really cool. The governor of Georgia and his workforce development, and the state workforce development chamber is coming to Vicksburg, Mississippi for a tour. So we'll be looking at dates to host our own summit, which will be a huge regional opportunity for everybody to see what's happening. And it's always great to be able to go out there, and we're standing fixing to go eat, and two guys from another state walk up and go, "You're the guy from Vicksburg, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then they call this other guy who's from Starkville, and he goes, "Yeah, this is the one we were talking about." And they, that gives you a lot of great confidence to know that we're doing things that are different, not for the sake of different, but for the sake of what's best for students. And anyway, it was a great meeting. We made some good connections. Y'all be getting some more information as that rolls out. Went on down. I'll get y'all a copy of all these. The last thing is we went and talked to state superintendent about the opportunity of serving some incarcerated or adjudicated youth in a program. We kind of talked about it before, and I told you I'd update as we came along. So that's moving a little bit further. So as those details come in and become concrete, we'll make you more aware of those. One thing I would like to say, it was really cool. We're finding ways to encourage kids to think about what they're going to do. Statewide, they're coming up with a magazine that's going to do that, and it's going to be provided to all the schools in the state. And we were asked to be the K-12 representative by the governor's office to help build that. So that was really awesome to have a direct voice, and we're in there with nobody else from K-12, and that was a great event because we're putting things down, and we were able to narrate that because they wanted to do it. Hey, it'd be something to give our juniors before their senior year, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. We've got 8th graders that are taking Keystone. We have elementary kids that are thinking about what they want to be and what they want to do. So we moved the communication down, and there's some great articles that are going to be there, and of course the stories. We'll have our student stories that will be handed out all across our state too. So that'll conclude me.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the superintendent's report?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve our superintendent's report
Is
as
there a
read.
second?
You don't
Is there a
have
second?
you don't have a motion on that.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor?
You want to accept it, Mr. President?
Accept it.
Accept it as opposed to approve it. Yeah, thank you.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Appreciate your travels and your hard work, and the fact that you're bringing a lot of recognition to Warren County. It looks good. We keep minutes and follow Robert's Rules of Order. The minutes have been circulated. Any additions or deletions to them? I believe we moved to accept them as written, right?
Yeah, we've already approved those.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
We got the project updates. Gary Bailey, the architect for the additions to the school system, is with us today. And
Jason's going to assist that, kick that off.
We'll kind of team that. I'll talk about the update in general, which you have in front of you. It's a couple pages. Just briefly, Beechwood and Vicksburg Junior High roofing packages are both complete. As far as the roof, you will see both of them were behind schedule, one 8 days, one 64 days. We informed the contractor of their delay and received no pushback against that. They knew they were late. So be it.
And they're liquidating damages.
That's correct. So the roofs are complete. Both of them still have a few minor things to do. Vicksburg is super close. They had some tar on the roof ladder, general cleanup. Beechwood is in much further along, but he's got some site issues he needs to address. So you guys as a district still has funding to do that and to address those concerns and those pools. So, it's tough being tall.
I wouldn't understand the
You wouldn't know.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Gary, we'll leave it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right height for Gary now.
That's right. Vicksburg High School buildings and additions and renovations there. I encourage you to go by and look at it. Rash, they're, I don't speak too highly of the contractor very often. They're putting on a show right now. It's really neat if you would drive to the backside of Stadium Drive, to where the outfield of the baseball field will be, and just look up the hill. You can see all the work going on the baseball field. You see equipment on the track, and you will see the new steel for what the architects call the floor. So imagine the peak of that steel running all the way through your building to Confederate, and it will kind of give you the grandness and the scale of those additions. So they've also occupied the inside of that building, especially in the existing cafeteria. They're working on some roof issues in there, and they have started upgrading mechanical and electrical connections throughout the building. Just really pleased with the way Thrash is working right now on that building. So staying with that, athletics, Vicksburg High School, we had the issue we brought to you last meeting about liming the field. They've procured the lime, and hopefully by tomorrow afternoon they will have all the lime sealed in. They will be ready for stone. They've got about 80% of the stone procured. The rest of it's just waiting on the river to go down. So the river goes down, we'll have turf down by the end of July. If the river stays as they're expecting, it'll be the second week of August or so, but we'll still make plenty of time for the football game, first home game in Vicksburg in September. The hill at Drummond, you guys approved the emergency change to get that addressed. Engineer got involved, we got it designed, we got it fixed, they've implemented the piles. Just about complete that process and have it stabilized, get the work done. We know we've got some more investigation to do and fact finding, if you will, but the main thing is they're addressing that hill. So we'll talk about that next month, just kind of where everything lies on that.
Since that's a city street, is the city gonna help us with that?
We've got to get the piles in first. We haven't.
We won't get the
gotten
hill
that far.
stable before we have that conversation.
We have not gotten that far. It's still that one lane is still barricaded and closed just as a precaution. So no movement has been there the past 12 to 13 days. Has been monitored. So, but it just has.
And I will add that the engineers are not concerned about that road. Whatever that's worth. It had some settlement, but it's not going.
So as you know, Warren Central Athletics is a little ahead because we didn't have to build a retaining wall. The turf is down. Hopefully within the next 10 to 14 days, we will have asphalt on the track surface. It has proof roll. Again, we're not putting the running codes on that until after football season when we demo some bleachers. But that project's going well, and they're getting geared up to start working on the softball fields as soon as they finish the baseball field at Vicksburg High. Warren Central's additions and renovations, all written, it was awarded much later than Vicksburg, but they're making equally as much progress. When you drive by Warren Central, you will get lost if you pull on the campus because there's literally no parking lot left. But it will be there for the start of school and the start of football season on the south side. They're making a lot of progress, and they have occupied a lot of the interior surprisingly quick, which we were happy with. Ceilings are out, toilets are closed off, can't use them. Mr. Green has relocated kind of their admin to different wings of the building so they can get in there. A little hectic, but it's summertime, and we're pleased with that.
Well, since Vicksburg is crazy about football, will the field be ready for August 23rd, the red carpet?
It will be
It's ready
it's
now.
close to occupied now.
Good. I know the public will be glad to hear that.
Yes, it's a beautiful field. The cameraman, I don't know his real name. He's got some cool videos you need to see.
Said it.
Some really neat videos, some aerial.
Did it with a drone.
It's beautiful. And last on, as far as awarded projects, AOI, again, you guys have accepted the bid from Century Construction, and it is still on hold to be awarded up to the end of the first week of August based on the market tax credit availability. Ms. Burke is working with Butler Snow and trying to iron out all the details on that, but we're really excited to have those guys, and they're under budget bid.
Let me add a comment to that. If the new market does not work out, which that possibility always exists, they're very slow in their determinations at this point. We'll be coming to you after the 4th asking permission to proceed. You've got the project under budget. You've already approved it. All we've not done is give the notice to proceed. The lawyers are ready to process the bonds if we do choose not to go to the new market. So you may have special board meeting in July if that ends up happening that way. We've got until August the 7th to hold the bids good. We don't want to lose those bids.
The public's glad to hear on the budget.
No doubt.
I'm glad to hear on the
That's
budget.
right. So that's it as far as awarded projects, design projects. Gary's team, they're working diligently. You know, athletics, the second phase was over budget, and that is currently being redesigned. We're taking a look at getting scoreboards and lights out as separate packages to keep progress going on that, but they are taking a hard look with Preston and the teams about what we could really change and modify to save money there. Looking at doing that after the junior highs bid, which will be, that's your next line item, junior highs are going to bid. Yesterday was the second advertisement, and we will take bids on that on the 23rd of July. So take bids here, and then the next thing would be redesign, putting the advertisement out for the redesign of the athletics. So
We hope to come to you at your July board meeting with the results of the junior high bids and the proposed modifications to the athletics to get it close to budget. So we'll have all of those budget informations at one time.
And just for the fun of it, what does the depth, the height of the rubber have to do with it?
Get the rock off of it.
because most stone, most of the aggregate we have is
Bring it in by
shipped from
boat.
southern Missouri and northern Arkansas, and they won't let it come. All the rock is ordered and procured, and it is sitting about 2 miles north of Memphis right now.
I worked on a towboat one summer, I know what you're talking about.
So they won't, apparently have something to do with the weight. I'm not familiar with the hydraulics, but you can't run that thing past Memphis right now. And then that leaves Beechwood. Beechwood is funded through COPS, so it is ready to go. I believe the second week of August is the bid date. Russ is working out the issues of that with the paper and contractors, make sure we get participation. But Beechwood, again, is a renovation project. The next three, Beaumar, Bovina, and South Park, Gary and the design team and engineers met this morning at all three campuses with Bill. Walked and took a look around. Again, those projects are a little late summer, early fall. October for Beaumar, and then Bovina and South Park early November. Which leaves us, again, sometimes always busy for us. Gary and I always laugh. Nobody in our industry takes vacations in the summer because we're trying to get you guys in. But you'll see those next few things by the end of July, which is basically when teachers and kids return. You got to get asphalt on Warren Central's track. You got to get the new parking down at Warren Central High School for both athletics and kids coming back. The turf at BHS football. Topping out the exterior block at Vicksburg High, which is going to allow them to start setting larger with no flit roof before the rain hits. We're going to bid the junior highs, and then we're going to finalize the money for AOI. Thank you, Paul.
We got a couple items that need some action from you. You mentioned the fact that we want to go ahead and bid the lighting and the scoreboard for the athletics phase 2. Part of the cost savings is to bid those as separate bid packages, because they're in budget, their bids look good. We'll save overhead profit from the general contractors by bidding them separate, and it'll show a good faith effort that we're moving forward with what we said we were going to do. So we're asking for permission to go ahead and advertise those as soon as possible, and have separate bid packages on each one, and proceed with bidding on that. It does need some action.
What's the position of the superintendent?
Oh, I support it.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion to take that action.
Make a motion that we approve advertising of the athletic projects,
The lighting and the scoreboard.
lighting and scoreboard as separate projects.
Second.
Okay, been moved and second to proceed. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Mr.
Those
Bates,
opposed, like sign.
Yes, sir.
question. Are we going to carefully take down the ones we have on now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was going to interject. This football season will be played with the existing scoreboard and lights.
So they won't be ready by the football season. Probably be soccer, we should have them up. We have two items that we think we need to take some action on that's in your best interest. We go over each of those. As you know, in the auditoriums, both high school, we're replacing bleachers, we're repainting, we're freshening up those auditoriums. At Warren Central, we took out the floor down to the concrete. That's the way it is in the bid. At Vicksburg High School, we failed to take off the paint off of the concrete floor. So we're recommending that while we have the chairs off, in the interest of equity between two high schools, that we remove all of the paint surface down to raw concrete That is a change order of $37,454. That money is in your contingency built into the project. It's plenty safe contingency-wise. It's not an add to the project, it's spending contingency money. And we had said we would come to you for approval for anything over $15,000.
Since we failed to recognize that as a potential problem, why don't you pay that for us?
Well, everything's open for
You know,
discussion.
So let me ask you, so they're gonna grind it down, what are they, how they remove it?
Basically using
Sand?
well, no, it's first they put down a fluid surface that takes the paint off, and then they'll do some light sand.
And then we're going back with.
Sealer on concrete.
Sealer on concrete. We can
The
get
easiest to clean, you'll never have to refloor it. Taking those seats up are the pain, so while we got them off, it's the time to do it.
And,
And it'll also be the same as both high schools.
Any additional questions? This is a change of what we planned, so we'll entertain a motion for an additional $37,464 to remove the paint while the seats are removed. Save us some labor costs.
make a motion, we accept change order for the Vicksburg's floor.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any additional comments? Mr. Attorney, you comfortable with all this? Okay, all in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
One other minor item, between the phase 1 and phase 2 athletics, there's one thing we think we need to shift to phase 1. We have some storm drainage that was going into phase 2 at Vicksburg High School that we think we need to move it into phase 1. It'll help us contain and control water on the bottom of the hill, which is in everybody's best interest. It was already in the phase 2 project, so the dollars are the same, but it's plus or minus $28,000, and I don't have the exact number. So it's zero budget issue. It's just moving it from phase 2 to phase 1 as a change order to the existing contract.
Okay, so no additional cost, just move.
Not overall cost.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve that change.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the change order.
Second.
Second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll get that exact amount in minutes, plus
Thank you.
minus 28.
Thank
Any
you.
questions for either?
Oh, the question, at Warren Central or even at Vicksburg as well, starting with Warren Central, the amount of parking spaces we're adding, does that at least meet the number you had?
It's a good question. The south parking lot.
Yeah, it is a net add of, I believe, 37 spaces.
And also at Warren Central, during football season, they park on that practice field. So is that practice field going to be available? Or are we just
Which practice field?
the band practice field?
Yeah. Yes, there's nothing, we're not touching it.
I mean, you're not going to have equipment on it. It's not going to be lay down area or anything. And for Vicksburg, or what are we doing for additional parking? I mean,
We're praying.
tell them.
It's going to be a real challenge. We're going to have to look at some shuttle buses, and Preston's working on a plan of action so that we got that covered. But it's going to be very, very tight.
But that's for the games. But what about for like everyday school?
Everyday school is going to be very similar to the way it was. We had that already
Okay.
planned in action. When they start back, it'll be just like it was in back.
Okay.
Anything else?
The old Cooper High School, which is now Vicksburg High School, was actually built on some sunken areas that had to be filled originally. Civil War caves, and also there was a dump back in there at one time.
Thank you, Mr. Joe. We don't need any more caves.
I want you to know what you're working on.
We're working on big heels, all I can tell you. All right, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We need official move to accept that report. All right. Thank you. Okay, Financial lady is here, I see. Are you ready for your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I will bring you your financial report for May. Please be reminded we're always 1 month behind in our financials from month to month. I'm going to start with casino revenue. For the month of May, we received $56,899 for the month, with a year-to-date total of $518,000. If you look at the chart, to compare year to year. We actually received a little bit more at this point in time than we had last year. Last year, we had received $445,000 compared to the $518 that we've received this year. Overall, we received what we expected for the year, so I'm hoping that we still are in line to receive everything that we generally budget for casino revenue, which is about $600,000. Moving on to our ad valorem. For the month of May, we received $508,000 compared to the $530,000 we received this time last year. And when you compare year to year, we're pretty much in line with the ad valorem. This time last year, we had collected 29.69. Now we've collected for 2019 29.97. So we're a little bit higher in our ad valorem, and some of that is due to our request to fund one portion of our debt service for this first year. Okay. Moving on to our MAP for the month of May, we received $2,343,196 compared to $2.5 million we received in 2018. Overall, we received $26 million compared to the $25.7 that we received last year. So we're slightly higher overall in our receipt of MAP, but this month was a little lower than we were month to month last year. So I like looking at the overall numbers. It says more. So when we look at the statement of cash flow, May actuals, which we're projecting, will end the month of May with $26 million in our ending balance. That shows we started May with $27 million. We received $3.4 million in revenue, and we spent $4.375, which brought us to an ending balance of $26 million. Now, when you take that and you go into June estimates, we're actually looking to end the year with about $22 million. And if you look at the year-to-year total column, you'll see that we're projecting to end the year $1 million better than we started from our fund balance. And if the board remembers when we talked about in the budget meeting last week, that $1 million is what we asked the board to allow us to use for the salary stuff. So that was part of the project for the salaries. That is my financial report.
How's our 16th section balance?
We are getting it back up, Mr. Joe. I told you I'm working on it. I got it in the CD. I got it. We got our interest where we're doubling our interest that we were getting on it before. So instead of moving that interest back into the district maintenance for operations, we're keeping it in the 16th section fund so that money can continue to grow.
One question real quick. Can you, have you uploaded, don't have your entire financial report in board docs. Can you make sure it gets up?
Yes, sir.
Because it's not there.
Okay.
Do you see any increase in ad valorem as a result of new business being created in Vicksburg and Warren County?
No, MDE usually, when they give us our comparisons that we work with the county with to make sure our numbers are correct, they usually have a section in there for new properties. And we have not had a column in there for new properties for a while. I keep hoping, but right now we have not.
We've got several industrial expansions going on and 2 new industries that are coming, so we're hoping.
Yes, I've actually started to see a slight increase in our assessments. So that's good news, but as far as just straight new property, I have not seen that.
What about the casinos? I noticed in the paper that overall the state is down slightly. We okay in this area?
Yes, sir.
Casino?
Yeah, like I said, this time last year, we actually told we received a little bit more. This time last year, I think we had only collected like $435,000. This year, year to date, we've received about $518,000. So we're doing a lot better.
That's good news. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Any additional questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the finance officer's report as read.
Next
Second.
You guys are a second?
Been moved and second that we accept the financial officer's report, and hopefully good news is in the future. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, well, thank you. appreciate your hard work.
What you say?
You want to go over that?
Two more.
We're trying to rush you, wasn't we? Why don't you pass out a few checks while you're...
I don't know if you guys would like that. Then you'd be asking me where all the money go.
Thank you.
Okay, so.
She tells me we don't have any every time I ask for something.
And now you see why. Okay, so, presenting the 2020 fiscal budget for the year. If you would notice, the top sheet is our combined. It shows all of our fund types. That shows our general fund type. It shows our special funds. It shows all of our potential capital projects for the upcoming year. It shows any debt service that we'll be paying into the year. So the first column is general maintenance. So that's all of our instructional, that's our district maintenance sped, alternative school, athletics, anything that is in our 1,000 category, that is listed there. And you'll also see a breakdown by fund on that second sheet that basically tells you what it is. So in our special revenue, that's all of our 2,000s or federal funds. So we have food service, we have title, we have sped federal items, and various grants that we get that's on the federal level. All of those are special revenue funds. So, and our capital projects is a list of everything that I work with Gary and his team about to see what we're projecting to spend on all of our construction projects over the next, from July 1 to June 30th. So whatever money we're expected to spend on the construction project, I have to budget for that, as well as any reimbursements to the vendors that we'll get, whether it's a direct reimbursement from the bank or it goes through our accounts payable to be paid to those vendors. We still have to book those on our system and account for it in our financials. And debt service is only those, is a column that specifically tells you in our budget what we will be paying for as far as debt. Right now, we've sold 2 bonds, one's a taxable and one's a non-taxable. We've done COPS, and we've sold another one here in June. We just closed on one. So we've done 3 bond sales and we've done COPS. So all of those things that we've already done, we're gonna have to pay bills on those in the upcoming year. Make our first one payment in interest in September, and then we make a principal and interest payment in March. So when you add those two together, those are things we're expected to pay over the course of next year, which has to be in our budget. So looking at all of that, we are looking to, in our general fund, we are increasing, we're actually going to decrease our fund balance by about $400,000. About $400,000. And again, if you look at the fact that we had $1 million, and we asked the board to allow us to take that $1 million that was going into our fund balance to use that for the projected salaries, it's actually been offset by some other savings. So instead of $1 million hit, we only got a $400,000 hit. Okay. And same thing with some of our special funds. We have some areas where the fund balance for food service and some of the other special funds are only decreasing slightly. But overall, if you look at the total, we are projecting to have $116 million in revenue coming in, spending $154.8 million with some ins and outs, leaving us with a new fund balance of $31.8 billion. And that is all inclusive of all operations and projects as well. Questions?
I don't want to be the devil's advocate, but last year we budgeted $86 million, and this year we're asking for $88.7 million. Enrollment has gone down slightly. Any way you can explain that?
Yes, sir. And speaking with Bill and I just had a conversation the other day about why we saw so many negatives in our utilities. And looking at that, utilities costs have gone up by 3%. So you have to look at overall. We have to make sure we account for the increase in our utility bills. We have, like I said, we got debt that's coming through that we didn't have last year. Last year when we budgeted, we only budgeted for a small piece of that $86 million because we had only sold 1 bond at that time. But this year, we would have sold all of our bonds by the time we get ready to pay debt for the upcoming year. So we have to account for the additional revenue that's coming in and then the payments going out.
So, also, what about the effect of the teacher pay raise? So,
Yes, that is something that, but the thing about, because we have not gotten a final number from MDE as to what that is going to be, I went ahead and budgeted for it. Now, it would actually be into our benefit because I budgeted without the money, additional money coming in from MDE, because I didn't have that exact number. But once we get that revenue in, that's only going to be plus to us because we built the budget without that revenue. And once that revenue comes in, we add it to our budget at that time, and it just be additional revenue we'll get in that we don't have to go back and try to budget for.
so but also the MD doesn't reimburse us for every teacher.
No, they're not every employee.
Okay. So that rate, we have to cover that too. But you budget it to where you're anticipating giving everyone a raise with no reimbursement.
Yes,
And when we do get the reimbursement, that will go back into our
yes.
Does your budget include money we get from the state for vocational training for
Yes.
people that are going to work rather than college?
Yes, sir. Yes,
It's
sir.
really important nowadays.
Yeah, I know. I count it every
Warren
time I
County,
get.
Warren County is looking at about 3,000 to 4,000 new jobs.
Miss Sheila tell you, I find every dollar I can get, and I make sure I hold on to it.
She squeezes as hard as she can.
All right. We'll entertain a motion.
So you want to take action on that one or not?
No,
You need
Yeah, you have to.
a motion to approve G2 and 3, the resolution and the board, and the budget,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, well, that first, did they approve my financial, did they accept my
Yeah,
financial?
except the
Yes.
financial board, but you
So
got
the second part of the budget
two
is.
separate items,
Yeah.
resolution and.
So you want to do them separate?
I do, you explain the budget, and I just do G2, approve G2 and G3.
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion to, any questions? I'll make a motion that we approve G2 and G3.
second.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve the ad valorem resolution in the district budget for this coming school year. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I do want to remind you I'm watching.
I want you to listen to I want you to.
Okay, thank you. We now move on to general items for discussion. Accounts payable will be the first thing we'll look at.
Mr. President,
Circulate those.
under section G being the consent, can we vote on all that at once and pull certain items? Unless you want to talk about every one of them? I'd like to move that we pull certain of sections H and I and J for discussion, and then maybe we can vote on all that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So items to pull for discussion currently would be H9,
H11.
H9, H14,
11 also.
H11, H9, 11, 14, 15, 17, and 19 and 20.
We'll go one more time.
Sure, that we
Your motion.
pull them for discussion.
Add 18 to that, if you can read them out, unless
Oh,
anything else.
yeah, there we go. I missed that one. So 9, 11, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
That's
But
your
we're-
motion at this time.
Yeah, to pull those and to accept the consent agendas for H, I, and J.
Just a little bit of discussion on Eagle Lake fundraising,
Well, Can
item 20.
we need to make, is there a second on that vote?
Consent agenda first.
I can make a motion that we accept the consent agenda with the ones that will pull the numbers 9, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Second.
Been moved and properly second.
Yeah, I didn't have 6.
Any
Real quick
discussion?
question.
16.
Wait, we have-
16 without.
Did 16, was it on there? I didn't have it on.
Okay.
Do you need 16
You need
pulled?
16?
No, delete 16 out.
Okay.
9, 11, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20.
I second that.
Any discussion before we vote on this? I have a question on the Eagle Lake fundraiser. I'm 100% in favor of them using.
Hang on, we gotta approve, that'll come up in a minute. We need to approve that vote first,
Okay.
Okay.
because that'll take care of it. And we'll get to the Eagle Lake
All in favor,
fundraiser.
indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Okay, now you ready for the discussion?
Which one, full
You wanna go in order?
H9, we'll get, Eagle Lake, I think was more last one.
Yeah,
We're going to order that printing.
Letter, H9, letter of agreement with USM. Have you approved that agreement, Mr. Attorney?
I was not asked to look at that agreement, but I have looked at an agreement with them before. The university, they generally have the right language because they're also a public entity too.
I make a motion that we accept H9 pursuant review of the attorney.
Second.
Been moved and proper second to approve H9. All in favor?
Aye.
Indicate by saying aye. Motion carries.
H11,
Mr. Bass. Only thing I want to know on those 3 buses, with the band and regular students as well as the rest of the athletes being used. Thank you, Mr. Bass. I'd like to make a motion to accept item H11.
second.
Been moved and properly second to school bus purchases. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. It's H11 on the document you have in front of you. Okay?
H14, is this another agreement that, have you reviewed?
Review that one.
I make a motion we approve H14.
Second.
We move and properly second to approve H14, which is professional development. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
H15, can we discuss what the changes are? It says new attachment.
Student handbook.
Student handbook.
Teacher handbook. Wait,
What's
that's
the
not
change?
you. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, I
Yes.
thought that was your cue.
On the student handbook, where it talks about lunches for the adults and visitors. We don't have those numbers yet, so I just put to be determined on that section.
But that's the only real major change.
And the other little changes were grammatical
Corrections, but no major changes. I make a motion that we approve H15.
Second.
Been moved that we approve H16, student handbook improvements. Is that second?
Second.
Moved and properly second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. H17.
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, you're on.
That's right.
What in the world is this?
What do you mean?
Explain.
It is set by laws to unify our booster clubs on each high school campus. We have about 18 per school that operates and they do their own thing. So in order for us to unify and get everybody under that athletic umbrella to move in the same direction, we just put together some bylaws and hopefully that can be approved by y'all so that we can, again, everybody be on the same page.
I kind of thought we were out of the booster club business.
About 2-3 meetings ago, somebody, I can't remember who, I think it was Coach, said that all Booster Club needs to turn in all budgetary items to meet quarterly to make sure that they're not overspending or doing things they shouldn't do. So if
I don't
that's,
think legally we have that right.
You can.
I mean, you ask them for a report. We can ask for, I think in the past, we've asked for them to submit like an annual financial statement, but we don't get to approve their expenditures.
We get to approve, we can overrule their expenditures. Always have been able to do that. As far as their fundraising items, in other words.
No, what I'm referring to, we can deny them the ability to have an event, but once a booster has $100,000 in the bank, we don't get to tell them how to spend it.
Yes, you can.
Yes, we can. They're gonna do
If they're gonna take a trip, take the kids to the beach for the
No,
summer,
no.
you can tell them, no, you're not gonna let them go. to
No,
the
but
beach
you don't
for the
get to
summer.
approve, if they want to buy something for the kids or pay for them to go to Busch Gardens, other than, we can disapprove the trip, but we can't tell them how they spend their money. If they want to have a Saturday night thing for all the kids to go to the skating ring, you can't stop them from doing
Yeah,
it.
you can't. Generally, that's been allowed. There are limitations. Obviously, you can't do anything that the principal or the school board doesn't want them to do. But generally, it's just been accepted. They're going to do things that are good and healthy for the kids. But there are cases out there where people can, the boards overrule particular items. If they want to buy something bad for them, I mean, this is a discussion we can have later on, but certainly if they might buy from the they don't approve of. Remember, we had to approve the expenditure to the Booster Club for the batting cages or whatever.
Yeah, but you approve their donation. I think if the Booster Club has money and the Booster Club is a parent organization, we can't tell them how to spend money unless we have to approve them putting something on our property.
Right.
But if they wanted to buy every kid a jacket, you can't tell them not to buy a jacket.
Well, there's certain things you can prevent them from doing. Yes, you can.
What
You
you
can
do?
prevent them from doing that. I'll give you some examples later on that you won't want to hear about. There are some schools have done some bad things with the money.
Okay, so what boosters does this include? Because and how are you so you're going to pool all the money together? I think you're going to kill your boosters by doing this.
Well, there would be one general fund, but within that general fund, everybody can have their money set aside that's going to be kept and managed by a treasurer. What Briggs was talking about, yes, y'all can manage what is being built, but we fall into the Title IX issue. If the baseball team builds something, or they raise $60,000 and the softball team does not do the same thing, then that falls on the district. So in order, again, to unify everything and to make sure that I'm able to manage what's going on, not tell them necessarily what they can do and can't do, just have everybody under the same umbrella.
That's what this sounds like.
What
Go
may
ahead,
I- incident that has already happened in the state of Mississippi. Booster Club built a $75,000 baseball field and did not go through the school with it, but they used the Booster Club and what found out that the specs was not right, so they had to wind up tearing the $75,000 field up, and the boosters wanted the school to pay the money back.
Well, here's the problem with that, though. We already have approval, so to accept the donation. So if that right now, if we already have the power, we've been doing it all these years. If the band wants, just like they did at Warren Central, wanted to provide a cover for the students to get up under during the heat, we had to approve it. They had to provide documents for us to approve to accept the donation. Not to tell them that they couldn't do it, but I mean, you follow what I'm saying? I don't understand. This scares me right now. I don't agree with this.
Just from my own simple mind, are you pooling all Booster Club money in one account?
It is in one account, but again, they have the autonomy to have their money that would be allocated for their particular programs.
Well, the Warren Central has more students than Vicksburg this particular year, and Vicksburg wants to spend more money than Warren Central,
But Warren Central have their Booster Club athletic, and Vicksburg would have theirs.
So it'll be, but each school will be separate.
Correct. Correct.
So what about band?
Band does not fall under this umbrella.
Okay. What about, so where is this money coming from? Let's go into this account.
Through fundraisers and donations, held by the individuals of the Booster Club and those coaches and athletes.
And have you discussed this with the existing boosters?
Yeah, I've talked to everybody.
So they
Even
all,
band.
they're all on board?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I make a motion we table this item until we get some more information.
Correct.
Motion been made to table this item until we get additional information where it's clearer to everybody. Is there a second? I really don't like the second being chairperson tonight, but I think it's important that we consider every activity that we can get information on, so I'll second it. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed? 2-1. It'll be tabled until the next meeting. We'll get additional information, be able to give you a clear picture of where the money's going. Thank you. You ready for 19?
Item 18 I pulled, and my only point there, I think that's Dr. Little or Dr. Germany.
Yes, sir.
I've dealt with that company before. I just want to make, where's Dr. Germany? There you are. We need to make sure they're using the same language. I didn't want to have to review the contract all over again. If you look at what they sent you, there's a master terms and conditions provision in there. And we should have, I know we've agreed with this, this is a renewal of a contract we've had with them before.
Yes.
Don't renew it on their terms. You got to make the changes that we put in the past. I don't want to have to go back over and do it again. Just make sure they're making the changes that we previously made in our contract. Okay, if they don't have those, and I need to pull my old file, I can do that. Okay, so I would say if y'all want to approve it, but approve it subject to being the changes being made that we had previously used with this company.
Based on the attorney's interpretation and recommendation, is there a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve
I second.
attorneys.
Been properly moved and second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
We on 19?
Yes, sir.
That was 19. That's 19.
Have you reviewed that one, Mr. Attorney?
I have reviewed that one, yes.
I make a motion we approve H19.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Not hearing any. It comes through. I have a question on H20 when you get ready for that.
We're ready.
That's it.
I'm 100% in favor of supporting the Eagle Lake fundraiser. I just want to know what school facilities are they asking to use?
Redwood.
Yeah, it's
Redwood.
Redwood. I was going to ask, I thought you were specific
Okay.
spot at.
You good?
Is there a motion to
Yeah, I make a
approve?
motion we approve H19.
Second.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded that we allow Eagle Lake fundraiser to be
20.
hosted at Redwood
That was
School.
20.
20.
Oh, excuse me.
You can reword it, H20 if you want to.
Yeah. I make a motion we approve H20.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I think everybody understands that Eagle Lake's got a water problem, and we want to make sure that the schools are supportive of our students, and we have a lot of students that come from that area of the county. Hopefully that'll be successful.
And they chose Redwood because Redwood was the first entity to step up and support the flood victims with support, and they wanted to have it there. So.
That's good. Okay, we're ready for 21, H21.
That's got to move down.
We
to
moved that
K-
one to K5.
K5.
So we're now on,
I think we're down to
we're on
K1.
discussion item K. 16 second recess.
Y'all want me to take over here at 16 section
That'd be
leases?
great.
Yep.
We've got the leases, we had 5 tracks that were advertised this past month, and we've got the bids that Ms. Wansworth given me, so if y'all ready to, if you want to write down, Ms. Wansworth, you got a bid sheet or something to call these, to write these down?
Yes, I do.
Okay. First track we're going to open is 1674. That's referred to as the Rawhide track. First bid is from Tom McDonald, McDonnell. That bid is in the amount of $10,000. There is certified funds in the amount of $1,000. This bid appears to be in order. Second bid is from Johnny, can't read the last name. Let me see. Oh, Johnny Sanders. Sorry, it's on the check. Johnny Sanders. bid appears to be in the amount of $1,050. Looks like, yeah, the bid's in $1,050, but the funds, certified funds, in the amount of $1,050. That bid does not appear to meet the minimum. The minimum on this, Ms. Wadsworth, is 10,000. You have the minimum on that one?
What's the,
1674.
it's 1,000.
Oh, it's 1,000. All right, well, it does meet the minimum bid. And there's certified funds in the full amount of the bid. So 1,050 is the second bid from Johnny Sanders on that track. So you got one bid for 10,000. Who's got the existing lease on this one, Ms. Wansley? Who's the existing leaseholder on this track? McDonald's got the existing leaseholder?
Yes.
Right. McDonald's got the high bid, so he would have the right to match, so it appears that
I make a motion we accept.
Let's put in 10,500.
it says 1,050 on here twice.
Oh.
I thought that maybe that's what it was, because the certified funds say 1,050, but I can't go beyond what's written on the sheet.
They only bid 10%
That's
of the lease.
10,000.
No, well, look, I'm looking at it. That say 1,050 on that. I figured that's what it meant. That's why I was confused, because it's probably supposed to be 10,500, but it says 1,050, and I can't go beyond what it says on the bid. Does not appear to be in order. It's in order for the amount, but it doesn't show 10,500 on there.
You're supposed to make a 10% down payment on your bid, so.
Well, it says.
But it says annual rental. It says annual rental $1,050.
Bid annual retail value of $10,500, and then it says I'm submitting $10,500.
Say 10,500 or 1,050.
$1,050.
Yeah.
It says $1,050 as your bid, as your annual bid. So that's
Well,
it.
observation, there's just he made an error when he wrote down here. But I think by law, you have to do whatever.
Johnny, I hate it, but I don't know. I can't.
Can we?
It's just 1,050, and I wouldn't think that would be an irregularity that the board could waive, unfortunately. Of course, the McDonald would have a right to match whatever you bid anyway, and more than likely they'd match the extra $500, but I can't say that for sure. So, what we got?
So Mr. Attorney, your recommendation is that it's a valid.
It's a valid bid. Yeah.
It's a valid bid.
It's way less than
$1,050.
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion. Any further questions? I make a motion we accept the bid for 1674 Raha track for the amount of $10,000. First bidder Tom McDonald.
Second.
Motion properly seconded. Any further discussion on this? Both these folks have good reputations. I'm sorry that it came out this way, that it could be a clerical error, but we have to honor the law. And, all in favor of accepting the bid of $10,000 by Mr. McDonald, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Mr. McDonald. Gives the bid.
Okay, the next track is going to be 16-15-4.
What was it again? 16?
16-15-4. This track is referred to as the Halls Ferry track. Swansea, what's the minimum bid on this one?
It's gonna be, 4,500, it's to be, amount of
4,500?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first bid is from David Barnett Jr. in the amount of $7,500. There are certified funds at 10%. This bid appears to be in order. $7,500. Second bid is for $4,500. It's $450 in cash. It does meet the requirements. That bid appears to be in order. Gentlemen, there are no other bids on this track. Who's the existing leaseholder, Ms. Wanston?
Mike Richmond.
Mike Richmond? Okay. And that bid, I'm sorry, that bid is from Mike Richmond, the minimum. So, Mr. Richmond here by chance?
I was here present.
Okay, well, he's going to have, he needs to be notified. He's either got to match the bid of $7,500 or he's going to lose the property. So, y'all want to make the motion to approve the bid of David Barnett Jr. and $7,500, subject to the right of Mr. Richmond to match that bid.
I make a motion that we approve the bid for 16154 Hallsbury track for David Barnett Jr., 7,500, unless the current bidder, what was his name again? Current leaseholder, Mike Richmond, matches.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the bid of David Barnett for $7,500, understanding that Mr. Richmond, the present leaseholder, has a right to match it or better. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? I hope the deer in the hills this year, because they sure not in the swamp. All stand rawhide ought to be good.
Okay, next track is these in order. They were on my sheet. 15-14-4.
Okay.
Here we have one bid. Well, now, what's the minimum bid for that one, Ms. Wansworth?
It's 13,167.
Okay, we have a bid for $13,167 from Cortez Bird and Company. And I think they are the existing leaseholder on this, and there are certified funds.
Who was the current leaseholder?
First section of the bid now.
15-14-4. I'm trying to tell if this is
What part of the county is that?
I'm sorry, Ferris Farms track.
Ferris.
Yeah. Actually, I don't believe this is certified. This is not a certified check. So this bid does not appear to be in order. It's the only bid we have.
Can
So
you,
the board can either reject and re-advertise, or
Are they the current leasing?
Current lessee, yes.
Can we, if they provide the correct funds, can we accept it?
If the board wants to do that, you can, but it's not certified funds. The bid did not appear to be in order.
The president.
Huh? They wouldn't mention anything anyway, so I make a motion that we accept it pursuant, they provide proof of certified funds, is that the proper way to say it?
Certified funds, how quickly?
Within 14 or 7 days.
Your decision.
What about you, Mr. Turner?
I mean, it's acceptable. You can waive that irregularity if you want to. Especially since it's the only bidder on the track and he's existing leaseholder.
If you
You'll get a right.
we advertise it again, someone else comes in, they still have the right to match it. They're the only ones that bid on it now.
I don't know why so many days.
Well, give him 3 days. You make them a different
I
motion.
like 3 days.
I'll make my motion to 3 days.
Second.
3 work days. Because tomorrow's Friday, and that would be, so
So move that we
it's
accept
3 work days.
3 work days.
the bid based on no change within 3 days, as long as
What
it's
day?
certified funds, right? Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Ah,
Okay,
Did I understand 13,167?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Next bid is 1616-4, that's Mount Auburn Road track. Here's we have one bid here. It's from Lamar Barnett, or Lamar Barnett. Yes, Lamar Barnett. The amount of $6,805. Does that meet the minimum bid, Ms. Watson?
that's the only bid?
There are certified funds available. That's the only bid.
Make a motion, we accept the bid for $6,805 for track 1616-4 Mount Auburn Road.
Second.
Is he the present leaseholder? Does that affect the entertainment center out there that also is on that 16th section?
No, it's not.
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Barnett.
Okay, the final track is 1614-3. That's the Jeff Davis track. First bid is from Burnt Ridge Hunting Club, J.R. Sessoms Jr. And that bid is the amount of $7,020. What's our minimum on that, Ms. Watson?
7,000.
Okay, so they meet the minimum. They do have certified funds included.
Was that the only one on this?
No, we got one more. Looks like it's from Herbert Poole III. The bid is in the amount of $9,400. There are certified funds included, amounting to 10%, so that bid appears to be in order. Who's the existing leaseholder on this one? Sessom has an existing lease?
Yes.
Okay. Well, is Mr. Sessom here?
Yeah.
Mr. Sessom, do you want to match $9,400?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the existing leaseholder is going to match the highest bid, so it makes it academic if you want
Do we still approve?
to approve the
I make a
Mr.
motion
Sessom.
that we approve the current leaseholder's bid of $9,400.
Second.
Well, it's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the present leaseholder who is matching the bid of $9,400. Mr. Sessom. He's a good welder, too. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
If we may, is there anybody here that didn't get a bid that's, want to collect?
They'll lay it out.
No? All right. Okay, that's it.
Not that bad. Good improvement, not that bad.
I'm done.
You're done?
Glad to see all of our hunting friends here tonight. I wish everybody could get the bid and where we could all hunt and have a good day.
Now, Mr. Joe, you know you don't want everybody hunting. If everybody's hunting, they got to kill all you can kill.
Well, I really think.
He didn't make eye contact.
Glad
did
he did.
So next we on to K2. School improvement.
Yes, sir. No changes.
I will say, board member, that I did call the State Department to get some clarity on how to proceed for the summer month and the monthly update. So we're waiting on them to give us back some information. So as of right now, no changes.
Okay. Kind of hard to make changes in schools out. I'm just going to state the obvious. We just going to repeat last month's report. Ditto.
Yes, sir.
Do we need to accept last month's report? All right. I think we're done with K2. There's nothing to do, right?
Correct.
Next is K3. What's the discussion on that one?
We have issues with August and September board dates.
Yes. Thank you, if that's acceptable.
Now, what was the new date?
It's on there.
I don't see it. Hold on.
Those new dates,
Hold on.
are those acceptable to board members? I think it's August 27th and September the 24th.
August 27th.
Move to the 29th or something. Okay.
You want to go into executive
No.
sessions?
No, we don't.
Okay.
September what? Craig?
The 24th.
So the 27th of August and the 24th of September. I'm making a motion, or we'll be voting on it, or?
We vote on it?
Yes.
I make a motion, we accept the new board date, the board meeting dates for August is August 27th, and for September is September 24th.
Second.
Properly moved and second to announce the board meeting for August will be on the 27th, and for September will be what date?
24th.
24th. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Well, public knows the board meeting for August will be the 27th, and September will be the 24th in this week. So we welcome public input and all of it. So, thanks for coming. Great evening.
The other two, we don't have any discussion on K4 or 5, the new ones we had. They're sitting for next month.
Mr. Attorney, you want to call for an executive session?
One item. Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll need a motion to go into closed session to discuss the agenda for executive session.
May so move.
Moved by Mr. Pratt, second by Coach Stevens. All in favor of executive session? Sorry, but you have to leave, folks. Nice to have you. Nice to have you.